Hi, this is Russ Allman, Communications Director at the Foothills Community Center. That's our name now.
Okay, that's right. It's been changed.
And on the road today, I came over to visit Darlene Backlund. She moved to the area about a year and a half ago. Has been in a couple of different places. Moved here because she has family in the area, but I was really interested in interviewing her because of some of the pretty amazing athletic competitions that she's been involved in, and I needed to catch her before she left for Antarctica.
Right. I leave in a couple of weeks for a 3-week expedition to Antarctica.
So you're gonna get. So I guess you got to get there while it's still summer, right? Right. So, Darlene, tell me a little bit about your background. Where are you from? What places have you lived?
Well, okay. The old story, I was actually born in Yakima, but then grew up in Sacramento, New York, and after college moved to Everett, Washington in 1967 and worked for the Department of Social and Health Services as a social worker. Got married in 1970 to John Backlund, and he worked at juvenile court in Snohomish County. We both played adult soccer in the Seattle area, north of Seattle. I did for about 20 years, starting at age 29, because when I was in high school, there were no sports for women. It was long before Title IX was in effect. So anyway, we played soccer in 1993. He retired early at age 53, and I quit work at 48, and we moved into our motorhome, lived in a motorhome for 10 years, traveling around the country. Knew we needed to exercise, and so we started walking. We couldn't get a whole soccer team together as we traveled around, so we could go walking, and he got a hip pointer when running on a crowned road at first, so we started kind of walking fast, power walking. One of our motorhome friends said, Palm Springs has a fast walk, 5K. You guys walk fast. You should go. So in 1996, we went to Palm Springs, did a 5K. He set a meet record, and I set an age group record, and that was almost 31 years ago, and that was the beginning of this is a sport for us. So we started training. We started competing in 2003. We went to our first world competition in Puerto Rico. And then every 2 years, we would go to World Masters competition, Spain, Italy, Finland. It was great. He encouraged me to do longer distances. He says, I think we can do a 30K race walk. And we did. And then he says, I think you could maybe do 40K. And then it was, 50K, which is the longest distance or has been in the Olympics for track and field. And so my first 50K turned out to be, which I did at, I think, maybe 64. And that was in New Jersey. And I knew I was going for an American record and set an American record. Got home and learned it was a world record. And so I thought, wow, okay, this is good. So then set 4 age group world records and the 50K. And I continued, I did 10 50Ks. 50K is 31.1 miles, which is 5 miles farther than a marathon, which is 26.2 miles. And a half marathon is 13.1. I did 10 50Ks in hopes that the women would be allowed to do a 50K in the Olympics. Only the men were allowed since 1908. The women never have been allowed to do a 50K. So no longer is there a 50K. And in this next Olympics in LA in 2028, the distance for race walking will be a marathon and a half marathon. So I got to attend the part of the Olympic trials for that distance on January 11th in Santee, California. And I did set a record for the 80 to 84 year age group. And it also turned out doing that, and I did a half marathon, 13.1 miles, and going into that, I also set American records for my age group in the 5K and the 20K. That's the basics.
And so you were kind of showing me, and we're going to take a tour of her medals that she's brought with her to East Wenatchee. But
Yes.
So you told me you had a lot more medals before, right?
Right. When we lived in once we started race walking, we started accumulating medals all over the U.S. and the world. We then stopped motorhoming and got a place in Terrebonne, Oregon. And when we left Oregon, actually in 2011, and bought a place in Palm Springs, California, we gave away about 350 medals between my husband and I, and we gave them to the track coach at the high school for them to reuse. And then in Palm Springs, where lived there since 2011 until I moved up to East Wenatchee in 2025. It was October of 2024. 24, okay. But found that race walking totally enhanced our retirement, because we met people all over the U.S. As we traveled in our motorhome, we were able to go to races in different parts of the U.S. And then as we traveled around the world for the World Masters, still keep in touch with a very good friend in South Africa who also race walks. It just totally enhanced our retirement. Plus, it kept us healthy. Mm-hmm. I still take no medication. I've had no surgery since having my appendix out in age 10. So, very unusual.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely evidence that people that keep moving stay healthier.
Yes, for sure.
And did we want to mention your age?
Yeah, I'm 80. I turned 80 in August. Wow. And 80 is awesome because anything I do, people think I'm amazing. I went skydiving the day after I turned 80. Loved it. I'm able, because of race walking, really, has kept me healthy. I lift weights, I hike, I snowshoe, I do dynamic stretches, static stretches, and just keep moving.
I was going to ask you, are you enjoying the trails and the foothills?
Oh,
here?
Love it. In fact, 2 days ago, hiked up Saddle Rock, which was the 11th time I've hiked up Saddle Rock since moving here.
Wow.
So, yes. Yeah. Haven't done much snowshoeing this year, but I did last year.
There's not much snow to snowshoe in right now. Right?
And then I also play ping pong at the Eastmont Community Center every Friday morning. In fact, this morning played 2 hours of ping pong. And in my complex here, we have a ping pong table. And Monday nights, we have a group that plays ping pong here, which, as I've gotten older, decided is a really good sport, just bending over and picking up the ping pong balls.
So you chose East Wenatchee to retire because of family?
Because of family. I have a son who lives in Orondo, he and his wife, and they built a house, so I figured they'd be here a while. And I have a granddaughter and her husband and 3 of my great-grandchildren who live in East Wenatchee, not quite a mile away. And they are fun.
That's great.
Their ages are 5, 3, and 6 months. So great fun. And another great-grandchild in Montlake Terrace.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to ask you how you heard about the Foothills Community Center and got involved there.
When I moved up to Wenatchee, I knew I had family here, but I also wanted to make a life for myself. As a widow of 9.5 years, I needed my own activities. And so I thought the senior center would be the Foothills Community Center, which was senior center at the time, would be a great place to meet people. And I went and I met some wonderful people. I played dominoes, hand and foot, and cribbage, went to dances. And then there also learned about the walking group at Pybus every Tuesday and Thursday morning. And I started going there and have met just the best friends who are so supportive, who love to do a number of the outdoor activities, go on hikes. We've, as a group, some of us have taken the free bus up to Chelan and Nansen and Leavenworth and had lunch. And so it's really, this is such a wonderful community, at least for somebody my age. And there's so much to do.
Yeah. So I was actually kind of curious, regionally, since you grew up, since you're originally from Western Washington, right? And you mentioned that you were involved with soccer when you were younger. What do you think about the growth of soccer?
It's unbelievable. And I started playing soccer at age 29 when we women formed our own team. There were only 3 women's teams north of Seattle. It was Marysville, Everett, and Snohomish. And it was great. The camaraderie. In fact, I still keep in touch with a number of those that are still alive. At my age, number of friends are no longer here. But very close community. And with the race walking, I find the same thing. It's a community that's unique in and of itself. And here in the valley, well, I much prefer it as opposed to the west side where all the traffic is. And I have a daughter and her husband in Olympia and a son and his wife in Seattle and my other granddaughter. But East Wenatchee and Wenatchee area, the scenery, the river, the Apple Valley Loop Trail. In fact, the reason I live where I do is I'm only 4/10 of a mile from the trail. I'll be very anxious for the walking bridge to be completed because my long walks, I usually do the whole loop for training. And the scenery is fantastic, just unbelievable. And the activities.
You can still get out to Lincoln Rock right now, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Well, it was closed temporarily for the farmers. They had put the gate, but I can go east and can go as far as Lincoln Rock at this point because I'm no longer training for 50K. I'm training mainly for half marathon, which is 13.1 miles. And so to do a 10 or 12 mile workout is all I need instead of the old 20-mile workouts.
So tell me a little bit about Masters.
Masters, okay. USATF, which is the overseeing body for track and field in the Olympics. Now a Masters athlete actually is age 35. There's so many of you out there, once you're 35, you can compete at USATF Masters indoor and outdoor national championships or any Masters competition. There's also what's called senior games. And in senior games, you have to be 50 years old. So, but that's the difference. Different overseeing bodies. When we started, we were involved with USATF and found more competition and more races available. And so now I do like the Apple Blossom Festival race. I'll do that, but I race walk it while others are running.
Right.
So, yeah. So you ready, Russ, to get into race walking?
just walking would be good again.
Okay, good.
What I do for a living, I do a lot of sitting.
Yes.
Yeah.
And walking, actually, there was an article in the New York Times a few weeks ago about the value of walking and for dementia. And dementia runs in my family. My mother died of Alzheimer's. My brother died of dementia. My 2 older sisters have dementia. My aunt died of dementia. So exercise, diet, sleep, and socialization are all the things to do to prevent getting dementia. And once you're diagnosed, that's the same things that you have to do after diagnosis.
Right.
So,
I think that's one of the things we really try to do with our community center too. Is the idea is to keep people active, engaged, social,
right.
and that doesn't. I mean, we have things like aerobics classes and Zumba classes, but it doesn't have to be that level of activity to stay active.
Right.
It's going to fit whatever the individual's capabilities are, but the important thing is to stay active and both physically and mentally, right?
Yeah. And I know actually when I first started going to the senior center, I did participate in the aerobics that were available there. I now do aerobics online with the instructor I had in California. And again, all the different kinds of exercise for me are extremely important.
Mm-hmm.
So,
anything else you want to add that I didn't ask?
Boy, I think I talked a whole. I talked a lot. Race walking, as I said, has totally enhanced my life, and I look at what is the next race that I will do, and then train for it. I try to race walk at least 5 days a week. Try to hike 1 or 2, and fit in the other weights and aerobics in between. And the next race I'll do after Antarctica is the Apple Blossom 10K.
Oh, you know what I wanted to ask you is why Antarctica? Where did that come from?
Actually, the first time my husband and I went to Antarctica was in 2002 when our son and his wife invited us. And we went, they were the first sport scuba divers in the Weddell Sea. And we were on a 54-passenger Russian crew icebreaker. And having been now to all 7 continents and 54 countries, Antarctica is still my favorite trip. Being amongst hundreds of thousands of penguins, seeing the seals, the whales, the birds. And in September, I went on a seaborne expedition down the Labrador Sea and absolutely loved it. We saw polar bears and black bear, and I got to go kayaking and with minke whales that were 10 feet away from our kayaks. And I thought, this is the kind of travel I want to do. So there's this trip to Antarctica, and I want to go back there and go to South Georgia to see the emperor penguins, because the last time we only saw one. That's why.
Maybe one day we'll have a trip in our travel program.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, I know the friends that I walk with, a number of them have gone on the travel program trips through the community center and have had a great time. So, yeah.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to do this with me today.
Oh.
And we're going to take a tour.
We're going to take a tour.
We're going to treat this like a little mini museum trip. Through the rooms of the house to look at all of our medals.
I appreciate that, and thanks, Russ. And it's nice to meet you.
Sure.
And again, the Foothills Community Center really is a great location. And those of you that want to come join us on Tuesday and Thursday mornings behind Pybus, 8:30. Doesn't matter what pace you walk. There are up to 20 of us, and you just walk the pace you want to. And then the best part is when we're done, after about an hour, we have to sit and have coffee at Pybus and get that socialization in.
I think there are a couple of people, I don't think any of them are doing wine that early in the morning. But
no, I think they do that later.
Yeah, that's later. That's later.
Yeah. Okay, Russ.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
As I said, my husband and I started about 31 years ago when in Oregon, we had so many medals in the bedroom. We gave away 350 when we moved from Oregon down to Palm Springs. And there we had a whole lot. And before moving up here, I gave away 44 pounds. And what I've kept...
So it's measured in pounds, not in number of medals anymore.
Right. So what is all on this bulletin board are the world record 50Ks, which also become our national championships, and the national championships of all the distance at different ages that I've received. Below here are the races I've done in the last 15 months, and the medals I've gotten from it.
Mhm.
I made the quilt years ago for many of the t-shirts from when we started. In fact, you might, this one, the very first race we did in Palm Springs in 1996, the senior games. We did do Bloomsday once in 98 with 58,000 of our closest friends. and then we started going to Worlds in 2003, with the first one being Puerto Rico. And the second one we went to was Spain, which is where I got the first team gold medal. And to stand up on the podium with my two teammates and hear the national anthem, just like they do in the Olympics, I cried and cried. And the last Worlds I went to was in Malaga, Spain, after my husband died. And I did get 2 gold team medals there as well. So that's this room. And in my office, not really prepared for photos, but the world map of all the places we were fortunate enough to travel to, all 7 continents, and ended up have gone to 54 different countries. So the stars, we did hike Machu Picchu, and again, very, very fortunate to be healthy enough to travel.
There it is down there.
There it is. There's Antarctica. Yes. This time I'll get to go to South Georgia and the Falkland Islands.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's here. I moved into the living room after the Team World gold medals. And this is a picture in 2005 of San Sebastian, Spain, where we competed in this stadium. And I got the first team gold medal. And then in Finland and in Sacramento, not as fun, Brazil, Malaga, Spain, and then in Florida. We also did World Masters in Italy. Where else? And again, it just so enhanced what we did and keeping healthy. So I think that's all that the race walking. These are all trips from going to Antarctica. These are all from the original artist, cheap paintings. South Africa, Myanmar. We went to China and climbed the Great Wall. And since my husband died, I've been to, we had gone both to Russia, St. Petersburg, and I've been back to cruise from Moscow to St. Petersburg and to Vienna and to Argentina. So I'm very, very fortunate. And race walking is what has allowed me to keep doing it. And my attitude is do it while you can.
So when are you leaving for Antarctica?
25th of this month.
Okay, so right around the corner. Well, you're going to take pictures for us, I hope.
Oh, I take so many pictures. I post on Facebook so many pictures of my travels. But yeah, really looking